Hi, I'm Natalie Morales, and I play Zoe and my dead friend Zoe.
Hi, I am Saniqua Martin Green, and I play Merritt in My Dead Friend Zoe.
Hi, I'm Gloria Rubin. I play Chris in the same movie.
Hi, I'm Utkar Shambudkar. I play Alex in My Dead Friend Zoe.
My name is Kyle Husband Stokes. I'm the writer director of My Dead Friend Zoe. My Dead Friend Zoe is a film about friendship and family and how the way that we grieve people that we've lost and kind of giving ourselves permission to move on. It's about veterans. It's about two female Afghanistan veterans, their friendship, and the relationship between one of them and their Vietnam veteran grandfather. The film is based on my post-military, post-Iraq experience as a veteran of losing some friends, of dealing with PTSD, but learning to move on and learning how to really honor their memory. It's inspired by real people, by my grandfather who's a Vietnam veteran, by a different veteran who was helpful in me to learning to talk about it, by some amazing women that I've met, female veterans, and yeah, it's just been it's a very personal story that's, I don't know, close to 20 years in the making.
I play Zoe in this movie, and I think I don't know that we would have been necessarily best friends, our characters outside of the world that we were in. But I think we were best friends in the world that we were in service. But when we meet Merritt, it is after she has served, and Zoe's still around, even though, as the title might suggest, Zoe is dead. So I like to think of Zoe as, I keep saying this, but it's fun, as a guilt demon that just sort of follows her around, but in a fun way, in a sort of Tyler Durden-y way, in a kind of guilt demon that you don't mind having around, at least most of the time or half of the time. And maybe for Merritt, the fact that she doesn't mind having her around is dwindling a little bit. It's reaching a fever pitch. And yeah, I think that's a good description of Zoe
I think that's a great description
and
of
their
Zoe.
relationship.
Well done. Yeah. There's this veteran story is so it's so authentic. It's so universal in its specificity. And one of those elements of authenticity in the film is that you get to see this story with these female veterans. And I really applaud Kyle for his courage and bravery to tell his story, but tell it through a black woman and a Cuban woman. I think I think it speaks volumes. And Merritt is, Kyle in a lot of ways. But this person's struggling and in pain and grieving. But then thankfully, there's hope, and there's still fun and humor. And this whole thing, we're all here to help and to serve. We're standing with you to do that. It's a very important mission that I just feel so blessed to be a part of it, and I know we all do.
Well, I play Soniqua's mother in the movie. I know it's difficult to, accept that fact because we look like sisters.
Exactly
is
right.
true.
Accurate.
Yeah, no, but Chris is kind of in the middle of two veterans, if you will. Ed Harris, who plays my father in the movie, is experiencing some decline, as am I.
Cognitively.
Cognitive
That's what I
dissonance?
meant.
No, cognitive decline, right.
And her daughter is clearly struggling at this specific time in the movie. And also, a part of the picture is that my character's mother had passed not that long ago as well. So there are all of these influences of trauma, of grief, and of massive amount of life change. So in the middle of it all, she's traveling for work, and so is not there to help, if you will. And I know for myself, when I'm in the middle of a lot of life changes, especially wanting to help being in the middle of two people whom I love, that are struggling in one way or another, and there's stubbornness in a way. They're both vets, and so they get each other, but I'm just like, what is going on? That, she wants to control, which is very futile. So Chris is very caring and also a little annoying and also a little OCD. And I'm none of those things. So it took a lot for me to, and I'm totally rambling, but she's very much loves both her daughter and her father, and is doing the best that she can to heal them in separate but in very similar ways. On to you.
I play Merritt's dad. No, I play Alex in the film, and it's interesting because I think he represents when we go through trauma and when we carry our bags with us everywhere we go. You always run into someone who just is seeing you for the first time. And Alex sees Merritt for the first time and is intrigued and attracted, and he has no preconceived notion about who she is or where she's come from. I think he's also done quite a bit of work in his own life around his own difficulties, which he goes into a little bit in the film. But I think he provides an opportunity for what's to come. You know, a chance at a hope or a light or a lightness of being, something bright in this darkness that Merritt and Zoe and their family are going through. And he's sort of blissfully ignorant to it all, honestly. He's just kind of there to have fun. And then he's like, oh, wait a minute, you're dealing with a lot. And he's sort of all of us who have had to have the patience and strength to stand by somebody who's really struggling with mental health or addiction or any of the dark thoughts that we've all, most of us have probably either experienced or watched somebody else go through.
And if I may I amend to what you just said? I mean, just look at his face. You start laughing every time you just see his face because you have a funny face. You really.
Speaking of dark thoughts.
We love that. We love you and this.
It's a good opportunity to say that this is a dark comedy, though. I would say there's gravity and pathos in this film, but it was very important to me, and everybody was a champion of making sure that there's levity throughout the film. So you will laugh in this film. In the military, we laugh. In the veteran community, we laugh. And in a lot, and Utkarsh mentioned this, like in a lot of ways, that is how we process and deal, is by it's just by finding the humor and just remembering like the lighter side of people and those things. So I think there's a little bit of everything. There was no question for me that my first feature was going to be about veterans. I didn't think it was going to be my own. I hadn't had the courage to do that. As you mentioned, I've been creating content for the VA, for other veteran nonprofits for, I don't know, almost 12 years. I'm always telling other veterans stories. I've done huge mental health campaigns where I've interviewed all of these veterans, but I never thought it would be my own story. And it wasn't until COVID, where we're all locked in our little spaces and you start to, I don't know, think about doing something crazy or finding that courage. And so that's how I knew that it had to be personal. And I think audiences, all of us filmmakers, like when someone opens a vein and puts it on the page, it's relatable. And you do not have to have served in the military to relate to this story. Veterans don't own PTSD. We might be we might be the best at it, but we don't own it. Anybody that has suffered a loss or any kind of trauma can have PTSD or trauma, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I wanted to make something that was incredibly specific, but also has these universal themes. And I didn't do any of that. These people
No,
did.
you did.
Yeah.
No, you did.
I didn't tell them to say that. What's special about this film is that there are 3 huge veteran nonprofits that have unprecedentedly signed on as impact partners to this film. Impact meaning it's a film, it's enjoyable, but it's trying to do something. It's trying to not even just put up some words. Literally at the end of this film, people will see some messaging, some statistics, and 3 incredible organizations that are literally making an impact in the lives of veterans and certain issues. So our impact partners are the Mission Continues, the Bob Woodruff Foundation, and Every Town for Gun Safety Support Fund. And they are every single day helping veterans with mental health, with community, with purpose, and with safer gun. How do we want to say? With safer gun
violence
policies,
prevention.
smarter ideas about guns, things like that. So they're just incredible organizations. They've been partners on the short film, also on the feature. I'm so excited. All of these people here have been so supportive of it. And without sounding too lofty, to see this film and to talk about it and to share will be to help veterans and will be to help people that have gone through something that might need that last little nudge to like talk about it. So it's this beautiful thing of entertainment and escapism, but also activism and helping our fellow people.